I believe that mankind was born to lead extraordinary lives, lives filled with the fullness of vibrance and health and strength. But I think we often look for that source of success in every other place but within ourselves, myself included. I had a very one-sided view of health. I didn't realize that it included my mental and emotional state, included how I related to my relationships. And because I didn't understand that, I didn't make time for it. And I neglected my health. Even though I could overcome the obstacles of my body, I was defeated by the obstacles in my mind. My stress, my anxiety, unable to control my emotions and my fear. It was affecting my health, my well-being. It was affecting everything else, from my immune system to how I thought about myself, to the energy that I brought into the day, to my creativity as an artist. Everything else began to fade. It was only when I began investing in my health, all of my health, that things began to change, that I realized that the source of my extraordinary wasn't in everything else that I was searching for, but it was actually already within me. It was in my body, the power in my breath, my mind, my emotions. Anything and everything we could possibly want to accomplish in this life will first be determined by the quality of our health and well-being. But in order for us to discover it, we must practice it. And the beautiful part is, you don't have to look far. You are the source. We just gotta wake it up. So I've invited our Fuel to Flourish Fellowship of diverse health practitioners to join me on the island to practice, share the practice, and help bring to light the true meaning of health. Not simply the absence of disease, but the presence of flourishing.
It becomes real for us. So we're gonna have a brief.
Are we gonna last for 45 minutes?
Yeah. No, 45 to,
Oh, we can.
no, 45 seconds. I mean, that's either 45 to 90 seconds.
We're gonna kick things off with 2 minutes of laughter yoga, which exercises our ability to stimulate positive neurochemicals like endorphins that strengthen our immune system, energy, mood, and focus. Try it out. See for yourself.
Oh, this is gonna be a weekend. My intention here is to, work with some amazing people so that we can get some incredible content to create some significantly meaningful education and awareness campaigns for the country so that we can help this post-COVID recovery.
To just learn as much as I can and grow and create.
But to transmit it to the people so their lives can change because of what they're doing.
All of the passionate minds and hearts of the country to really pull together and really be a community. So I think my intention this weekend is to start with this community here and build upon it so that we can create national impact.
Love that. Because that's why we're all here. The love for ourselves, the love for our practice, the love for each other, and the love that we're going to be able to work on together to be able to contribute to our community.
May they be well.
May they be well.
May they be at peace.
May they be at peace.
Are we at peace? Are we loved? Yeah!
First stop on the itinerary is the majestic hike up Malasimbo Mountain. These immersive, hands-on workshops allow us to step outside of our comfort zones, challenge and engage the fullness of our instruments, from our breath and our bodies to our hearts and our minds, from our experience to our community.
Since we were kids, we were brought to the doctor only when we were sick. But we don't have to be sick.
Since the challenges of our workplace, for example, our family drama, everything is brought together in a chaotic mess. So it really takes effort to maintain that balance for homeostasis nowadays. And it's not impossible. You take care of your body, don't neglect your mind, and when they come together, the spirit naturally comes out.
It's all interconnected, the biological aspect, the psychological aspect, and the social aspect. So for example, your triggers are coming from the social aspect, like breakups. Then it has a relation on sleep, for example, or your eating habits. And enter psychological thoughts. If you're worrying, the biological aspect is also altered in that sense. The key here is to have self-awareness and to know your triggers and work on those angles coming from the mind, the body, and what Doc said, the spiritual aspect will come out.
Philippines is just at a certain stage of its awareness of mental health. I mean, in other countries, they don't even call it mental health anymore, it's behavioral health. Because if you can measure someone's behavior, you can start to shift their behavior, which potentially shifts the physiology, which will shift your neurology, which will make you feel different emotions, and then you can make better decisions.
I think it's education then choice.
Yes.
So I think the education component is probably the most important component, so people know they have a choice.
Yes.
Then help themselves become happier and healthier individuals, contribute more to society. And I think that that's a really exciting thing to move forward with, because if we can help educate people that they do have the power, and the power is in their hands to make the changes in their lives, then we might be able to see an actual cultural transformation over the next decade or so.
I created this show because I've been there, I know what it's like to neglect my body. I've believed all the wrong things, and I've made all the wrong choices. But you know what? The body is designed to heal. And I thank God, because this practice saved my life. So let's ask the experts about how to meet our essential needs through the practices of movement, sleep, nutrition, and mindfulness.
So the body was designed to move. This sedentary lifestyle that we lead now, we sit behind a desk, typing away at our keyboards for hours on end, that's not healthy. I've been waiting for this word to come up since this afternoon's start. It's called discipline. Okay.
What's that word again?
Okay, discipline is hardest at the beginning. Okay, but once you get into the process of getting into a program that best suits you, and mind you, programs are not one size fits all. It's actually customized. You have to be very sensitive to how your body recovers, first and foremost. You have to provide what it needs. You don't know what it needs, you cannot provide for it. And once the person gets into that program, it becomes easier and easier and easier. And it becomes a way of life.
We talk about this a lot. It's finding balance between engaging our bodies. It's not just burning energy, right? It's actually engaging the global functioning of our metabolism and our lymphatic system mobility to get circulation in the blood, offering oxygen and nutrients to every cell that needs to be revitalized.
As the body regenerates itself, you have to provide what it needs. Sleep is actually when your body secretes special hormones that helps it repair. All of these things have to be taken into consideration. When we sleep, it's when the brain integrates all the processes that it learned from the previous day. So all these neuroplasticity takes place when we are asleep. Not only when we're doing the actual skill that our brain tries to learn, it's actually when we sleep, stop and sleep, that this is integrated and gets carried on to the next day. Incidentally, the incidence of stroke increases by 35% if you sleep less than 7 hours a day as compared to those who sleep more than 7 hours. And there's another interesting study, this might sound gross. Men who sleep less than 5 hours a day have smaller testicles. And that impacts on your hormone, your hormone repair and your hormone production.
I get plenty of sleep, guys. Couldn't help it, sorry.
Something that I'm learning is that I need to just eat when I'm hungry and stop when I'm full. But then sometimes you just can't stop when the food is in front of you, because we've been taught to finish your food. What's in our plate, right?
There's a child in Africa.
Yeah, exactly. I got to hear that from my parents. Yeah. So it's just they should teach you, put in your plate what you need, and if you want more, then you can get more. But then just listen to your body.
Yeah.
See if you're actually really hungry or you're just eating.
Is it a craving or hunger?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Sticking to the diet is the tricky part. Okay, so what makes it difficult is because most people go on a diet for a purpose. It shouldn't be. It should be a lifestyle. Yeah. So when you adopt a diet, it has to be something that you can carry on for the rest of your life.
Do groceries, Of course, what you choose is what you want in your fridge. So when you open your fridge and you are at home, it's super easy, no? to eat healthy because you already bought healthy stuff.
There's a whole bigger world of other foods that you're not probably used to, but are healthier for you.
Yeah.
And yes, it starts with the grocery. That's why my nutritionists have a grocery tour with our patients.
Nice. That's awesome.
It starts with the grocery. You only pick something that you want in your fridge to meet your goal.
Absolutely.
We continue our workshop with a silent, mindful walk through nature, which helps anchor us to the present moment, allowing our mental and emotional state to naturally come into balance.
So because we don't process our own thoughts and feelings, then sometimes, one example is what we did, mindful walking, because it processes certain feelings as we go through it. This would help us know what level or severity or state our emotions are, and that's solving it. You're cleansing your brain to process things and then hopefully look for solutions on the next moment.
I love that. So does anyone ever have this or subscribe to this cultural belief that, wellness is actually a luxury? But so often we don't make time for it because maybe what is our relationship to it? Is it something that you just do when there is time or when you can? Or does it become an integral part of actually everything else that you're trying to be and to achieve?
Yeah, it's a comfort zone basically for some people. That's why they just think that, it's hard, so I'd rather just stick with what's familiar with me instead of trying something new that may be difficult and hard for the first time, but will eventually improve your way of life and your health.
Sometimes tend to feel that you just don't have a choice. I don't have time because you're just too busy.
Intuitively we know if we reduce stress, anxiety, and depression, we should see an increase in productivity. I don't know about you guys, but when I'm super stressed, my productivity significantly decreases because I then start procrastinating on things. I go on Facebook, I go on social media. I ignore the issue because I have so much pressure on my mind.
I feel like you're just solving problems and problems and problems, so you attract more problems and more problems. If you give yourself more time to cater to your wellness, then you'll be more proactive with solutions that whatever may come, right?
I love that this is all about holistic health. We're talking about nutrition on this whole thing. We're talking about fitness, well-being, and mental health, and how the mind, body, and spirit can all align, hold to oneself to be able to reduce the weight of just unfortunately living, especially in this time. Even before the pandemic, we're seeing higher numbers of stress, anxiety, and depression than ever before. Here in the Philippines, between 1986 and 2016, the rate of suicide increased per capita by 1,700%.
So that's a huge roadblock for mental health because it's viewed as a weakness, a defect, a sickness. People are just told this doesn't happen. This doesn't happen in our family, and just hide it.
Well, that's where the destigmatization comes from. So if you're so afraid of seeing a psychologist because then you're seen in society terms as crazy, then that's a debilitating problem to be able to take and hold for years. The amazing thing about simply talking about something and being vulnerable and being able to speak to someone who's unbiased, who has no preconceptions about who you are and who you ought to be, allows you to be more authentic and allows you to actually open up about the true problems that you're facing, the true nature of those problems, which then takes some weight off an individual's shoulders.
The likes of you guys, it's definitely going to help bring more awareness that it's okay,
Yeah.
Same way that you need glasses, I might have needed antidepressants or whatever, right?
To feel the emotions that we are feeling out loud so that we don't have to hide it and take cover of fear of judgment. We can come out and again treat each other with respect and empathy.
We need love. But how can we be fully loved if we don't allow ourselves to be fully seen? During my world tour in concert, I became very good at suppressing my anxiety and hiding my weaknesses because I was afraid that people would think less of me. I covered it up with my success, my achievements, and distractions. But without a proper channel to process my stress, I spiraled into a general anxiety disorder and eventually adrenal fatigue. But the thing that changed everything? My community. Their borrowed eyes are what gave me permission to honestly express myself. And by being vulnerable with others, it not only gives us the courage to be fully seen, but it also encourages others to do the same. So wherever you are in your practice, never do it alone. There is great strength in needing others.
Shaming yourself or you feel guilt, that paralyzes you. Yeah. And you get stuck in that. Yeah.
If you're shooting a free throw, judgment is kind of saying like, oh crap, I missed this. Yeah. I suck, right? And that doesn't do anything.
No.
And instead of doing that, you can move into a perception of evaluation. Yeah. And it's not about starting again. You're starting from from the skill or the process that you've accumulated. If you look at the word motivation, it's like you need to have a motive for action. Like what's going to move you to action? You have to have a strong enough purpose, a strong enough why. So why is this important for me to achieve? Like why do I want my body, my mind, and my spirit to be in optimal, well-being?
Yeah.
Whoa!
Oh, is that you?
Yeah, that was me.
Wow!
This is in November 2016. I had an artificial disc implanted and then a fusion on the bottom. On the road to recovery was actually going to Dr. Ben and getting a full panel. Just all these different biomarkers. That's when I started to learn about all these things because I had all sorts of deficiencies, result of my whole body just shut down from taking all those painkillers, from the anxiety, from just, I was also drinking to try and numb the pain as well. I went into deep depression. I felt sick. I wanted to collapse. I had no energy. And so I remember there was one point where I even was borderline suicidal. I didn't want to hurt myself, but I remember I was sitting in my living room, and because one of the things that I picked up was tinnitus, and I'm sitting there with this loud ringing, and I'm sitting in my room alone in my apartment, and I thought, you know what, if someone came along and said, do you want me to just switch the lights off, I would have said yes that time, because I was just not, I was like, this is no way to live. This is just, yeah. I remember at that time as well, I was like thinking I was like, who would ever want to procreate with me? I had no self-confidence. I had no self-worth. It was just all sorts of bad. But you know what? At that same time, that was pretty much the moment where I was like, you know what? That's it. No more. I refuse. I don't want to feel like this ever again. And I'm going to do whatever the hell it takes. And so, the start of 2017 was when I got on that mission. and also like transformation. So in a year and a half, I've dropped something like 65 pounds. And you know, for me, even though those were the darkest days, those are, I would never take them back, you know. The lessons I learned there, like this tattoo here means no mud, no lotus. It's my reminder that you need mud sometimes. Mud was my suffering. That's what made me who I am now. And so, you know, I wear it proud. And somewhere along the lines, I had no idea, but you know, that landed me this beautiful girl. Because she always says how, you know, she's so inspired by my story and that even when we weren't together. So, yeah, I definitely wouldn't take any of it back.
Searching all my life, I'm thirsting for so much more than all I've ever done before. There must be more to all we're living for. Steady, trust my heart, I'm ready. And though it's hard, I will take my time to see it through. I know there's so much more to me and you. Take your time to run your pace. Step by step, you'll find your place. Body, soul, and mind, they're bringing you to life. Build your strength and shape your mind. Day by day, you're redefined and come into your own. And know you're not alone. You were born for, you were born for, you were born for more. Ooh, I feel it alright. My heart is open and wide. I feel the breath in my lungs, and now I'm speaking my mind. I've learned to trust in my feet, and now I'm coming alive. I see my body was made to do more than survive. I've got a pep in my step, I've got a fire in my bones, I got a song in my heart. My joy is out of control. You already know we were born for this life. Take my hand and let's go.